Maylin Reynoso, a 20-year-old young woman from Bronx, New York. She is Hispanic and Latina and of Dominican descent. On July 27, 2016, she vanished into thin air. Do you remember? Did you hear about this? No? It's being said it's because this young woman was Dominican and may not have been at the same financial bracket or at least the same ethnicity as the woman who had a crime committed against her around the same time that Maylin did. It was right around the time that Karina Vetrino, 30 years old, an Italian woman, had been raped, beaten, and murdered. Remember, she was the woman who was jogging in New York, in Queens, New York. There was public outcry on this case. Hundreds of police and police manpower was put onto that case. Now, don't get me wrong. My heart goes out to the family of that woman. I mean, she lost her life so senselessly, just taking her normal exercise routine, and she would run into a monster. DNA from 360 black men were collected. According to the New York Post, it had been first assumed 2 white men from Howard Beach had committed this crime. Police investigated these men for 2 weeks. They even asked her father for DNA. He was a suspect in his own daughter's rape and murder. But somehow, somewhere, someone was apprehended. A black man by the name of Chanel Lewis of Brooklyn. It's even said that he confessed. And even to this day, people wonder whether or not he's really guilty. Some do have their doubts. But that's a separate story in itself. 123 Help Me said that Hispanics are the largest minority in the United States, but many times they're seen as a disturbance to the community, like they're all poor, on food stamps, welfare, and they commit crimes. And due to this thinking, by some, is this why there wasn't any outcry for Maylin Reynoso? She was just another runaway from the Bronx. I mean, that's what the local police said. Our missing black and Latino women and girls aren't really favored in the media unless it's something bad that they're involved in. Then it's a top story. As of 2020, black females are the most missing in America. Over 300,000, according to the FBI, last year, 2020. I do intend to shed light on many of these cases, coming very soon. But you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that so many of the black women and girls are missing right now. By looking at all the cases in the media, they're white women. It's actually called the missing white woman's syndrome, where the person is young, attractive, and white, and they overshadow all the cases of the other races. Now, the white woman, the missing cases, they're important too. I get that. But get this, black, Latino, Indian, Asian, those women and women of all other races, they are just as important, is all I'm saying. They have friends, family, they care for them too. They want them to be found. They want them to receive justice as well. Maylin did turn up 3 days later, floating in the Harlem River. Around this time, 14 black and Latino girls from the Bronx had gone missing. 9 have been found, but I bet those numbers have doubled, maybe even tripled since then. Do you know her family wasn't even notified until an entire week later after Maylin's body was found? Her family had to identify her by her tattoos. Her family, most definitely her mother, was very honest when telling the truth about her daughter. She spoke about Maylin's mental struggles. She was bipolar. She had depression. She sometimes heard voices. She didn't always take her medicine and may have even stopped taking it before her death. Did this mean search teams of people shouldn't go out and have looked for her? If you ask me, they should have definitely went out and looked for her if they knew she was struggling mentally. Between the New York City Police Department offering $20,000 for an award and the New York Fire Department adding an additional $5,000 for information leading to a suspect in the death of Karina Ventrano? Yeah, but not a peep out of this young Dominican from the Bronx. Maylin was working at a gas station in Upper Manhattan, and it was the end of her shift. She clocked out, shown on security footage, and then she just vanished. Her family did go directly to the police department. Her family feels that she was overlooked, and I have to agree, she was. Her family believes she was murdered and that there hadn't been any justice. At least that's what the articles in 2016 had read. If Maylin was murdered or died by her own hands, she deserved an investigation. Black and Hispanics are tired of having to march just to get the simple things done that should be automatically done when it comes to law enforcement. And in 2022, this is still going on, and it will continue unless we do something about it. Maylin, she was also a skateboarder. She skated with the Brujas of the Bronx. They did a visual and dedicated it to their fellow fallen skater. Ironically, I'm from the Bronx, and I'm also a Bruja. Rest in peace, Maylin.